Okay, very good morning to all of you. So now we are starting our next topic 1.3, morphology of the flower. So in the syllabus we having the parts of typical flower, then types of flower as complete, incomplete, then insertion of floral holes. That is, floral holes are the calyx, corolla, perianth, then estivation. There made modifications of calyx as pappus, petaloid, and the spur. So we will see the one by one. Then the first part is there. So the flower. So as in angiosperm, the reproductive structure found only in the flowering plants, and the particularly angiosperms basic structure to distinguish the different plant families are there. So flower is defined as it is a highly condensed and modified reproductive shoot function to effect the reproduction in continuation of the species, to protect organs for the sexual or the sex reproduction, to attract the pollinators, to give rise to fruits and the seeds. So this is the simple definition. So what is it? So it is the condensed and modified reproductive shoot. Condensed means, as we are knowing, the flower is typically developing in the each and every plant, flowering plants, and as it having the different colors are there. Reproductive shoot, that is the androecium and gynoecium, is present, and for attraction pollination calyx and the corolla are there. There are the specific these characters, so therefore it is defined like this. So here you are observing the different parts of the flower, or the flower types are there. So stalk of the flower is commonly called as the pedicel, and just as there are the many flowers on this one floral axis, so it is called as a peduncle. Second part is there in the additional terminologies. So when we are studying the flower, so we have to study the all other part. So this is the good photograph of this particularly your bougainvillea is there. So this is the flower, and large this it is the colored bract is there. In some other flowers there are the green bracts are there. So here you see the right hand side photograph. Then there is the having the petal is there, and there are it is the example of pterostylis, or we are going to see the next is so many flowers. So sepals, petals, these are there. Then our sunflower is the common example. So there are the many bracts are there, whole of the bract surrounding the to the peduncle. So here bract is there only P, and other many bracts are there. It forms a involucre formation. So pedicel, as it is to be, having a very short or long floral stalk, and this terminology, as the bract is there, so it is a modified or specialized leaf associated with the flower or the inflorescence. So at the present at the base of the flower, the bract is present. Then pedicel, it is a short or the long floral flower stalk. Then thalamus means what? It is called as a receptacle, the upper part of the pedicel, which becomes a swollen spherical shaped or the conical. So as per this, thalamus types are the different. We are observing later on. Then pedicellate flower means the flower with pedicel. It is called as a pedicellate flower. And sessile flower means flower without pedicel. So you remember these all basic terminology. Then we are knowing the outermost hole of the flower, so it is called as the sepal, and these sepals make up the calyx, and the sepals may be free or the fused. So see, the position of the sepal is there. Generally they are green in nature and they are the sterile parts. So therefore, as they cannot, they protect the, as it is outermost, so they protect the inside petals and all other reproductive structures. So this is a good photograph showing the position of the sepal is there. Then these flower parts are there. So there is a petals are there, that is the which forms a corolla, and the other fertile structures like the pistil and the stamens are there. So these are to be supposed as the essential parts of the flower. Please see here, the entire LS of the flower is there. So how in one flower, and this is a floral diagram is there. So in how we start from the outer side, so green color, these are the calyx, and the pink color, these are the petals. Then inside to this, the stamens are there, right, and the ovary is there. So ovary, that is the, it is a part of the gynoecium. So ovary, style and the stigma. Then stamens are there. Stamens develop a part, androecium, and petals are there, so it develop the corolla. So you remember this one. Then secondly, the flowers without a calyx and the corolla, they are differentiated into the perianth. So if they are not properly distinguished or differentiated as sepals and petals, so both are the same in color or the fused. So petaloid tepals are there, tepals of the perianth. This is the good example of the lilium, lily plant is there. Then sepaloid tepals are there, green colored tepals, and commonly it is, these are called as a tepal because they are fleshy, thick in the nature. I think you are also knowing the tuberose, nishigandha. So generally it also showing the presence of the tepal is there. Then flower symmetry, there are two conditions, one is the actinomorphic, one is called as a zygomorphic. Actino means, and this is the flower of your vinca rosea or Catharanthus roseus, sadapuli. So when it cut at any plane that is horizontal, diagonal, and the or the vertical, so it shows the two equal half. And zygomorphic means there is having the it shows the not showing the bilateral symmetry, so it is called as a zygomorphic. Then there are the calyx types are there, the pappus calyx, that is the hairy calyx are there, and spurred, that is you are observing here, calyx develop into a specific structure in the some examples. So it is called, and it is in view of the pollination purpose to attract the insects. Then here you are observing, this is our uh, pathri. So generally this flower, as it shows the specific type, here is also the spot type of the calyx is there. Then in the symmetry of these flowers, generally it is a actinomorphic, convolvulus, right, and the second, this example is the lamium. So actinomorphic symmetry and the zygomorphic symmetry. So actinomorphic means it is radial symmetrical, divisible into two essential equal portions along with any median longitudinal plane is there. When it is cut, it shows two equal half. Zygomorphic means it shows the bilateral symmetrical, divisible into two essentially equal portions along with only one median longitudinal plane is there. So here, as per the botanical study, we have to remember these two conditions are there. Then in the flower, general terms we are going to study. The first one is the peduncle, the stalk of the flower, receptacle, the part of the flower. Here the parts of the flower are attached. Sepal, it is the outermost part of the flower. Generally it is green and leaf-like, and that enclose the flower. And totality of the sepals in a flower constitute the calyx. Then same thing, petals. So the parts of flower that are often conspicuously colored. We are knowing colored are there. Good example, suppose the hibiscus is there, jaswant, किंवा dhatura, white flower is there, or other roses are there. So all they show the colored petals are there, and total these all parts they develop into the corolla. Then periangiast we have seen. So calyx and corolla they are not distinguished. So they are identical, and therefore this part these are called as the tepal. The androecium, it is a male part. The totality of stamens in the flower, and the stamens are formed with the filament, and the anther is there. So filament generally gives the support. Then anther, it is the pollen producing organ, and it is generally having the tetrasporangiate in the nature, or this shows the sporangia development inside. Then gynoecium, female part, we are knowing it is called as the carpel or the pistil, and it shows ovary, style, and the stigma. So generally this pistil, as it is commonly used as a part of the gynoecium. Then ovary, it is the enlarged basal portion of the carpel which develop the ovules. Then style is there. It is the supporting organ. Please correct the spelling. Support the stigma, and stigma where the pollens shows the germination on the this. Then there are generally two conditions we are using, monoecious and dioecious. Monoecious means male and female, that is androecium and gynoecium, they present on the same in the same flower. And dioecious means the male and female flowers are separate, in the different flowers are there. Then as per the sterile parts are there, so calyx and corolla. So calyx already we have seen, it is outermost typically, and it is green, encloses the rest of the flower, and prominently it is a petal like. Corolla, it is a second whole of the flower composed of units called as the petals, which are thin, soft, and highly colored to attract the insects for pollination. And perianth, that is the consist of sepals and petals that different in the shape, color. Then tepals are present in some example, right? Tulip is there, or our tuberose is there. Then different corolla shapes are there, so they are based on the free or the fused condition, polypetalous or the gamopetalous. The fused corollas generally they are the tube like, for example dhatura or tuberose we are knowing. Then other terminology we are using, the complete flower. Complete means when the calyx and corolla, androecium and gynoecium are present, so it is called as the complete flower. Incomplete means when any one or one of the four whole it is missing, then it is called as the incomplete. Suppose the unisexual flowers are there, right? So these unisexual flowers we are knowing here, they show called as this only stamens present, so these are called as the staminate, and only gynoecium is present, these are called as the pistillate flowers. So one of them it is present in the flower. Then bisexual flowers, both male and the female are present in the flower. In this condition we are also seeing the monoecious and dioecious. Suppose this is the male and female flower, it is a maize plant, so here This condition is the monoecious. Then here the cucurbits are there. So in cucurbita Bitaceae family, as there these are the bisexual. Calyx we are indicating in floral diagram capital K, and there is having the calyx with connate united. Then rosa species, then stellaria is the one example, oenothera is another. Some members of Fabaceae like the your sesbania म्हणजे शेवरी असेल, ल्युकेना, or the Pisum is there, Watana, right? So or the Gokarna, Clitoria. So they show this type of the condition. Then corolla, the corolla shows us the connate in structure. Corolla tube is there. Campanula is the good example. Ranunculus is there. Papaver is there. Poppy plant म्हणतात त्याला. So all these they show the specific type of the character. In types of corolla, you see first one bell shaped campanula, or the secondly funnel form. Then petunia is there. Ligulate is there. Ligulate, that is the good example seen in the Tridax. And tubular, yes, generally seen corolla in the Helianthus. Sunflower मध्ये two florets are there, array florets and disflorets. So corolla is the specific. The in types of connate petals, the good example of this bilabiate condition is there. You see the diagrammatic condition. Then in Solanum it shows the rotate type. Then in types of corolla there are the free petals are there. So this is a good diagram of the leguminous plants. For example, as Clitoria is the good example, and you see all these diagrams, they show the one large, it is the standard petal. Inside to this there are the two wings are there, and inside to this again two are there. They are called as kills, right? So already we are going to see in the estivation, this type of corolla, it is called as the papilionaceous corolla. Standard two wings and two kills are there. So 5 petals are there. So it is the specific character. Then in Androecium, we are knowing the stamens, they shows the normal condition, and the stamens they having the didynamous condition. Didynamous means two are shorter, two are longer. Then tetradynamous, it is the there are the 4 are the longer, 2 are the shorter, means 6 total. Then diadalpus, there are the 2 in generally seen in family Fabaceae, 9 plus 1. So 9 are in the one group, 1. Then monoadalpus, good example is our hibiscus is there, family Malvaceae. Then here you are observing the perianth. So perianth, that is the tepal is there. The petals and sepals, they are also not distinguished. Then corolla is there. Calyx, it shows the sepals, right? Then other terminology we are using this dioecious and monoecious condition. So here the different palms are there. So they show the monoecious condition. Then male and the female flowers are separate. Here you are observing there are the male plant, female plant. Then they show the bisexual, blue, and this one. So hermaphrodite, and the monoecious condition is there. In the symmetry, the actinomorphic symmetry, radial regular symmetry is there. Okay, so here you are observing this is the actinomorphic condition. Firstly, so horizontal cut, two diagonal cut, cross cut, and one is the vertical cut is there. In zygomorphic, you see the flower is irregular. It is not showing the two equal half. Only by one vertical plane they are showing the two equal halves are there, so it is called as the zygomorphic. So symmetrical and asymmetrical conditions are there, and in this term we are commonly using polypetalous and gamopetalous. Poly means free petals and gamo means the fused petals. So this is all about our today's lecture. In the next lecture we will see about the remaining part. Okay, so thanks to all.